Radio Forest Podcast.
Hello, it's Leslie Liao.
Leslie, how are you?
I am awake, but tired. How are you?
I'm doing good. Let's talk about your Netflix verified stand-up. On my Netflix account, you're the cover.
You know what that means, right?
What?
You know, on Netflix, I believe, they tailor the thumbnail of all of the content to make it so it's something that you would be like, I'd watch that.
Asian women, I'm in? Is that what you're saying they did to me?
Something about your algorithm and, you know, and I hope it works. I hope you will watch it.
Who's the cover on yours? Have you looked?
You know, it would be amazing if it wasn't me.
That would be hilarious.
They're
like, yeah.
If I'm so self-loathing, they're like, no, don't put her.
It's just going to make her
it's
depressed.
Probably anyone else.
She's going to hate it.
Because truly, I don't want to watch my own content. I do stand up all the time. I don't want to listen to myself anymore. I want to watch something else.
Well, I did watch your set. I liked it. Tell me, it's 10 comics doing 10-minute sets. Now, did you do a 10-minute set? It probably was longer than that, right? And then maybe cut down?
Yeah, I want to say I did 10. I definitely designed it so it was 10. The night of, we filmed 2 sets each, like an early show and a late show. I think I probably stuck around 10, and of course they edited it and made it fancy and clean. So 10 minutes is hard. It's like, especially for something like this, like you want it to be clean and good and hit and tight and all that stuff. Like there's not a lot of room to mess around in between like how I would live. But it was fun. I think like every comic, I think it's fun to see them all like bring their best stuff. So I watched most of the shows like that night and it was so good.
With your experience, there has to be jokes that for some reason aren't working with that crowd or that night or that city, right? You're like, oh, this one always kills. And then that night you're like, hey, it didn't kill. What the heck? But then...
Oh, 100%. You never know, like, if you're going to connect with a certain crowd. Luckily, like, the crowd was amazing. It was like a classic New York, really fun, lively, love stand-up crowd. But the fun thing is, like, you do the first set to get, like, the jitters out. Because you just got to do it. You do it, you get the first one out. And I think most comics that night felt the same, where we did the first set, and then the second one we were like, we got it in the can. This is whatever. And you're like super loosey-goosey for the second set. And I'm maybe like a little more confident. Like we have the first one, the second one I can just kind of be like casual, mess around, whatever. But it's kind of getting like a second chance at anything if you do. Like any conversation you have, if you got to redo it a second time, it's kind of like that.
Well, a little bit of it, though, is capturing lightning in a bottle. But I've got a kind of a silly question. Is there somebody running like continuity backstage? It's like your hair looks a little bit different than that early show, Leslie. We got to change some stuff. Or like your shirt looks a little bit different. Or do they not pay attention? Their hair's flipped to the different side. We can't have that weird thing pop up.
Oh, totally. Because I believe they like splice together clips from different sets for all the comics, I think.
You'd have to, yeah.
So I did have someone, like, I have a joke in the set where I have to pull my hair up. It's like, I talk about how without makeup and my hair up, I look just like my dad. So
you talked about Mulan, right?
Yeah, like it's basically Mulan, the movie. Like she had no makeup on and put her hair up and then went to war and no one said a thing. Like no one looked twice. So I put my hair up and I think the makeup hair department was like, hey, your hair's getting a little frizzy when you put your hair up. And there was really nothing we could do about it. I was like, you know what? Anything for art. I'm just going to put my hair up, put it down, hope it looks fine. But there is some kind of like movie magic behind it. Like they do want to make sure everyone looks consistent.
How does that compare then to your recent performance on Fallon? Because was that maybe a little bit more time? Or are you kind of running the same game? You're like, because that's a crowd that they might just be there because, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we went to go see Jimmy Fallon? Or they're just like, I don't know who's going to, like, you're not necessarily going to get stand-up comedian fans. I mean, there's a good chance, but they might just want to see a TV show.
Oh, totally. It is doing Netflix versus doing The Tonight Show with Fallon was completely different. Like the stakes were different. The night was different. The format was different. Like Netflix was, luckily the crowd was there for stand-up. They were there to see good stand-up and they were so awesome. And exactly what you said. No one at The Tonight Show was there to see me. Like, no one was like, we want to see Leslie. Like, they were there for The Tonight Show. They were there for Jimmy Fallon. And, like, it was a totally different format. And that was, I mean, it was technically not live, but that was made and taped to air that same night. I felt, like, very different for those 2 tapings. Honestly, for the Tonight Show, I was so happy. I was so excited to be there and just so happy. And like, I tend to not smile a lot in my stand-up. Like I have a very angry, lectury type of tone.
Yeah.
But at the Tonight Show, like, I just couldn't believe I was doing a set for like Jimmy Fallon and The Root, that I was like, how is this real? So I remember smiling a lot, like a total doofus the entire time, just because I was so happy. But yeah, they were so different.
So what's harder, though, doing stand-up in front of somebody like Jimmy Fallon, who knows stand-up and lives in that world and sees a ton of stand-up comedy still to this day, or is it harder to do stand-up in front of an open mic crowd where they might not even be there to see comedy? They don't even want to laugh. They're just kind of like, yeah, I got a free ticket, or I like to get some drinks, or my friend's on before you or after you. So like, what's tougher, doing it in front of Fallon, who's that judge of comedy, or the random person on the street? You're like, I think I could win this person over.
Okay, weirdly, and this is the honest truth, it's harder to do it for the random person on the street or an open mic, because with Fallon, also, like, he's such a silly doll. Like, he's so pro. He knows how to make you feel comfortable. So, like, he made me feel like I was the funniest person ever. And, like, so everything around that show is designed to make you have an amazing night. So it is so much harder to go, and I did these, like, go to an open mic at 1 a.m. for all these strangers who don't know who you are. They don't care who you are. They're not tuning in to see you. Everyone wants to go home. You have to really, in that environment, in those circumstances, make someone laugh is so much harder. And I know it might sound weird to some people because, yeah, it's a Tonight Show. But the Tonight Show, like, I had my set. I knew what I wanted to do. I've been ready. I was so happy. I've done the 1 a.m. open mic coffee shops for, like, people that are literally falling asleep.
Yeah, Becky from Iowa is not impressed.
She does not care. She wants to go to bed, as do I. We all want to go to bed at all times. That's adulthood, I've realized, is I'm constantly counting down. Like, every day's New Year's Eve. I'm like, 3, 2, like, it's almost bedtime.
Super serious question for you. What is the best Malibu rum flavor?
Oh, my God. Did you research my life? Because
Of course I did.
Because in that was my high school drink. I don't even remember the flavors.
I think there's like
I feel
coconut, and I'm not well versed either. I know there's a bunch of flavors. I guess coconut's probably the go-to, right? Or is there just flavored rum?
I'm sure I drank whatever was available. Like, knowing me, whatever was physically closest to me, I was like, this tastes great. And like Malibu, I haven't had Malibu rum in 20 years. 20 years. You know how your taste when you're young? Like, any drink is cool because you're just starting.
Sambuca's good, and you get older, you're like, this is not good.
I don't even remember what Sambuca was.
That's like a black licorice liqueur, so
oh my God!
But it's stronger
it's
stronger than black licorice. Like black licorice, I can stomach, but it's like you add that hint of alcohol, and it's a whole nother level.
I mean, we were drinking just like glow in the dark,
yeah,
poison.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but like, it was a great time.
Are you still working in HR, or is that done and you're full comedy now?
Oh, I still have a day job. I took today off to promote the Netflix special. I full on have a day job. My sleep is a dumpster fire. But this year has been like such a nice payoff from everything. And I don't think anyone should have a day job. Minus me, like, I feel like we all should just hang out. I think humans were designed to just wake up, have a Malibu rum, take a walk,
Malibu.
hang out. You know, like I'm so genuinely tired, but like I'm so excited that stand-up stuff is working out and happening.
But for you, I imagine comedy takes up all your vacation days through the year, right? Like, you don't have a lot of like, I can take a week off and go hang out with some family and friends or something. You're like, well, I can't. I've already got 7 different dates for the next 3 months that I got to kind of take off. Or do you say no to things? Like, if Fallon's coming, you might have to go a day early. You've got to take a day off of work, right?
I 100% use all my vacation days for comedy. So for the Tonight Show, I used vacation days to fly to New York where they film it. That was my vacation. And I know it's like, when you're in New York in a new city for comedy, it's like fun. You want to. And I just went to Chicago for an amazing show and festival. Like, I'm not really on vacation.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, this is a job. I don't drink. I don't stay out late. I eat salads all day. I don't have fun pizza. I am eating for performance and stamina and sleeping. So yeah, I use my vacation days to to work on comedy. So when I do quit the day job, I am going to just take a year off to party. I might throw my own festival to celebrate.
But by now, everybody you work with has got to have figured it out, right? I'm sure there was a while where people didn't really know, but I mean, if you're on with Fallon, the word's out.
Oh, they figured me out. Like they after Fallon was the hugest thing. Like some people knew, and after Fallon, like people are starting to recognize me at lunch in the building, like doing a little double take. People are starting to like send me emails like, hey, I'd love to pick your brain and just interview you. Can we have a meeting? I'm like, I don't have time for meet and greets in the day. Like, I got to get my job done.
Yeah. Go to my website. I'll get you a glossy.
I just send them my website. I'm like, have a ball. My YouTube channel.
Well, her Netflix special is out now, Verified Stand-Up. She does a 10-minute set along with 10 other comedians. It's Leslie Liao. Congratulations on Fallon and all your success and still holding down the HR job.
Thanks for having me. I'm so sleepy. And have a great rest of your morning.
Bye-bye.